Representing Van City through the combo. Real talk, real shit, keeping it a hundo. Wrestle with the facts, that's that. Covering the local artists. Like who be stepping up, putting in work, going the hardest. Hot takes and debates, hot cakes in your plate. Serve it fresh like your breakfast, cause man's got the methods and history of boxing and mysteries unlocking. British Columbia with no filtering the talking. And in this rainforest we got ample plants. Flourishing with life, it ain't happenstance. Tune in for the benefits like cash advances. You are now listening to Samp and Chance.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Samp and Chance Wrestling. I'm your host, Bobby Sampson, joined as always, my man with the plan, Mr. Chance Michaels. Chance, how you doing, buddy?
Not too bad. Yourself?
Can't complain. Coming off a nice little beginning of the weekend, at least. It was solid, but we'll get into that on another show called Outside of the Ring. So if you want to hear about what happened at ACDC and all that kind of stuff, make sure to check out that show later this week. Kind of break it down. Most people already know what went down, how the show was, but we just want to share from our perspective. All right, so let's get into it. WWE. Do you think SummerSlam was too early?
No, I think it's fine. No, it's fine. So it's the middle of summer. No problem with it.
I always found that SummerSlam should have been, like, for me personally, just be based on the trajectory and the tradition of it. SummerSlam was always like at the end of summer. It's kind of like, that last thing that they did before the fall sort of a deal, like the US Open at that time. Just even with the Royal Rumble, it feels like February seems like the wrong time. It should be in January. I don't understand. Are they trying to kind of get an edge up on the NFL, like, a week before the Super Bowl sort of a deal, or,
No, their NFL is so far ahead of those guys, and they're a little ant on the molehill. NFL is the king. Nobody can touch it. Not in North America.
No. So I mean, in terms of like, there's nothing on in that week. I mean, yes, you have hockey and basketball and stuff, but that's the weekend to attack. I don't know. I think January is it just feels like they're moving things around unnecessarily. It feels like, changing these dates and
sometimes
stuff.
They're trying to break away some of McMahon's traditions a little bit too. A little bit of pettiness, a little bit of we're going to switch it up and change. I think it's a combination of everything. So, but I don't mind SummerSlam when they did it. It's still the middle of summer.
Fair enough. All right. So you said you got some juicy stuff that you want to get into here. So what do you want to get into, bro?
Well, I wouldn't say if it's juicy. I would just say it's decent stuff to talk about. So all the hype right now in SmackDown is Owens and Punk, and it's been okay. Punk got a lot of heat for that word that he used. Did you hear a word that he used there?
Yeah, he called him an endoscorpy.
People
which is the well, why? Because people had to actually go to the computer and look up the word and realize he was calling him fat, right? Like, I mean, come on, dude. Like, it just.
So I guess because it's a medical condition, right? Like, and I'll give Punk credit. He was saying, before he's called Owens a slob, and Owens is a slob. Like he's been on the mic, but he's a slob. Look at the guy. He's been off. By the way, I don't know if you saw the pictures of Bronson Reed. He looks amazing. Wait till you see him. He had a year off. So Owens had a year off, and he never went to the gym once, right? And that's just is what it is. That's who he is. So I'm kind of glad CM Punk's just touching on some of that. But what I'm going to get to is a lot of people are saying Punk, Owens, like they're just losing their minds over it. There's a bunch of guys geeking out on podcasts how great this is. But the thing is, guys, they had a 16,000 seat arena. Only 8,000 people were there. So while we're praising how great it is, the public doesn't care about this feud. Maybe because they're too old. Maybe because these guys don't hit with the casuals. But all the last SmackDown and Raws are 15 to 16,000 seat arenas. Again, 8,000 people in there. And the cheapest ticket is $52. So we can't say it's overpriced, at least for the upper bowl. You can get yourself in the right. I think that's reasonable pricing.
You can't say that. So, and I like you always say, the numbers don't lie, and that's fine. But here's the reality of that, dude. I mean, I think, it's just more than numbers. I think people have just been so done in by this company, not just, financially and all that. I mean, for the most part, a lot of people aren't interested in what they're delivering and putting out there as well.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
And let's be fair. TKO has changed a lot of the writers. Ari and Shapiro have gone in and specifically put in their own people for rating. Okay, so I mean, but still, it hasn't improved. People are still complaining about it, right?
I think the fact is that we keep using the old guys. I mean, at 48 years old, we don't need CM Punk to be the centerpiece of SmackDown. Now, if he was getting 2 million ratings on SmackDown and we had the place sold out, I couldn't say a word, because obviously the people are demanding Punk. Now, the hardcore fans, they love Punk. They cheer for him. They sing his songs. They praise him. But the problem is people aren't buying tickets to see him.
Well, but that's the thing, and maybe that has to change around now that once people start to realize, oh, they brought the ticket prices down, people might be starting getting interested again, right?
Well, look what Russo and McMahon did in the late '90s. They're getting their butts kicked 83 weeks straight. What did they figure out? We got to usher in a new era. We're bringing all the young guns. We're going to use all the young guys
Hey,
with old guys. We're going to mix it and go with something. And like, so they got to realize you got the young talent. Tell these old guys step back, and we're going to roll with the young guys. And either way, the ratings couldn't get any worse. So why not try it?
yeah, no, and you know what though, chance wrestling is a roller coaster, okay? We up and down, up and down. It's a continuous, it never stops. I mean, and the same conversation happened in the early 2000s, and then it happened again in the mid 2000s, and we're back at the same
But we're
conversation
at all
again.
time low, and we're at all time low in SmackDown ratings, and they're not going to come back
Well, I
up.
mean, it's
That's
just
the
not
thing.
SmackDown, dude. You're just focusing on one specific
No, I'm
show.
just saying,
The
SmackDown's
numbers,
the lowest
the
rated show.
numbers are down across the board.
No, I agree. But this is what I'm saying. So they gotta change. The old guy, people don't care about Cody Rhodes and CM Punk anymore. Like they think they do. That's what I'm saying. There's such a wrestling niche bubble these people are caught up in. They have to watch other shows and just go to the, I don't know, go hang out somewhere, talk to the regular people and see what they like. Don't talk to the hardcore fans because they're going to be there no matter what you put on. You got to bring the average Joe and the average lady
I
in
get
there.
it. I get it. And until they can actually have someone step up and bring the masses in, right? I mean, they
Just
have
use the young guys. They have the talent. Let's go with the young guys and young women.
well, and they are doing that, dude. You can't say that they're not.
No, I know, but
Unfortunately,
there's no.
it's not at the main story itself, but the rest of that show is all everyone else, right? I
But
get what
but
you're saying.
but the thing
And
is, though, the main.
in terms of Kevin Owens being fat and you know Bronson Reed, I get what you're saying completely. But
But what I'm
unfortunately, with hold on, dude, with Kevin Owens' neck injury, it was really hard for him to train.
even before the neck injury, the guy never trained a day in his
No,
life.
I
He's
get
always
that.
about
I get that. I get
and
that.
that's
But
fine if that's his thing. But what I'm saying is, when you're the heavyweight champion of the world, that's their whatever company you're with. I don't care if it's RH, AEW, Triple. You're saying this is our best guy. This is the best we got. At 48 years old, if that's the best you got problems. There's no way that guy is the best you got at 48. He can still be a major player out there. He doesn't even have the belt. He doesn't have to put the whole show around the guy because he's never been a huge draw. He's a great draw for like the hardcore guys that love him on the podcast. They'll praise him,
well,
but
you
the
know,
average kid guy don't care
maybe,
about the CM Punk.
without knowing what's what. And the other thing here we have to keep in mind here. I read an article recently about TKO and their approach, like you know, because I was wondering where's that Ilya Dragunov? Where is this guy?
Mm-hmm.
Here's the problem, dude, and this probably might answer a lot of your questions and what kind of philosophy these guys are applying to the
Mm-hmm.
programs and who's on TV and who's not. Okay, you say all this stuff about Punk, but people are still clicking for him. People are still looking for him online and things like that. And they're looking at those metrics, the numbers that you speak of, right? They're applying a money ball type of strategy to how they're deciding who's on TV and who's not.
Well,
In terms of you know metrics and clicks on social media platforms and stuff like that, merch sales. They're not looking at talent for what the talent can bring to the ring or how good they are. They're looking at all the other metrics. Like remember in Moneyball, they got rid of Jason Giambi. They
mm-hmm.
got rid of all these guys
but
because
the thing is, people might click on Punk on YouTube. Punk's the kind of guy you love him or hate him. You're gonna watch what he says on YouTube. You're not, but that's one thing to click it for free on YouTube. But to actually buy a ticket to support the guy, it's a whole other
hey,
ballgame. Right?
and I get that,
So,
but that's what they're applying in terms of what they're deciding and who goes on TV and who
yeah, I've
doesn't.
heard them say that if you get a high number when the show is on, the SmackDown or Raw, we'll give you
Yeah.
the keep. I get that. That's smart.
So that's what they're doing, man. I mean, if
But it's not working though.
well, dude, they're basing it off of that philosophy. So you know, you got to look at them and say, okay, well, this
Oh
is
no, it's
their
all the above, dude.
decision.
I'm telling you right now, Ari Emanuel in Triple H will go down as the worst owner creative team,
Yeah,
like 1-2 punch of all time. And I don't even like for a big major company, I don't think I've seen worse. And Tony Khan is not on their level, so I mean, you could put Tony in there too. But I mean, SmackDown and Raw's gotten a little bit better since they got the pressure put on them. They've been told, "Hey, you guys, come on."
Hey, look, let's look at SmackDown. I thought the opening of SmackDown last week, and I know you're not a big fan of that side of the business, which is fair, you know. But Chelsea Green, man, that was probably one of the best promos I have seen her do in a long time. It was heartfelt. It was a shoot promo. It was done really,
That's
really
what I've been
well.
saying this whole time, dude. They don't have any realism in this. It's all fake and contrived. We actually think CM Punk and Kevin Owens hate each other, like each other. They're good buddies. But Chelsea Green, what she did there, It was obviously wrestling. We always put some sugar on top, but for the most part, was some realism in the story. That's what made it a great segment with Gunther and all this because she was speaking from the heart. It was real for the most part. We don't see enough of that. That's what I'm saying. That's what
Maybe that's
wrestling's
what they have to
missing.
do. But that's the other problem they have. I mean, you talk about a time where they didn't have anyone, on their back, during the Attitude Era. They didn't have any, rating or what do you call it? They like, the PG and all that kind of stuff. They didn't have to deal with any of the television ratings. They didn't have to deal with shareholders or anything like that. It was such an easy thing for them to execute what they wanted. Now you're looking at a company which is basically just cubicles. There's
Yeah, I
no
know. Yeah,
there's no open space for people to be creative. There's no open space for people to be free. We live in a democracy, but what they have become is a form of communism in terms of you can't do this, you can't say that, you can't hurt this person's feelings. The company wrestling sports in general has become woke because they have to cater to the general public and the people, right? Like half the stuff that we want to see, the things that we wish we could see, we can't because they're being held down.
Good point.
I always say the
we have-
biggest mistake, the only mistake McMahon ever made in his career was two things: going public and going PG.
Well, he went public because he knew he'd make a ton more money that way. Get the shareholders.
Yeah, but
I get why he did it.
But I get why he did it, but it was the stupidest mistake because he basically put handcuffs on himself and the company at that point. You couldn't do the stuff that people wanted. You lost the segments. All the people that you're saying lost is because they went PG.
Yeah, no, I get why he did it though, because he's thinking like we're going to get more shareholders, we're going to get more marketing, we're going to bring this thing even bigger and bigger. McMahon always makes changes. Right? He never gets stuck on one thing.
Why did WCW fail? Because they basically went against everything that they created, that Bischoff had created. Okay, and they went back to that Homer kind of gimmicky kind of crap wrestling that they were before. They literally did a 360 and went back to where they went because the new TV executive said, no, you can't have that kind of content on. No, you can't kind of do that. If you look at between 98 onwards, what WWE was doing would totally destroy WCW.
But you got to remember though, WCW guys are all getting older. That's the thing too. That they're doing what Triple H and they get all the old guys.
No, I get that.
They're getting older and getting hurt and stuff, right?
No,
and then he's like, we don't want to support this company no more,
Okay, no, I get that, but they were getting the orders from the upstairs bosses. The new guys when Time Warner took over. No, you can't kind of have this kind of programming. Even if the guys were old, they could have still pulled it off, right? It's just people tuned out because it just became too campy. It was just stupid again. It just had made no rhyme or reason. You look at just how far they fell down because of that. Same thing happened once McMahon went public with the company. Then they had to take on that PG moniker. They kind of put themselves in that position that where WCW was at the end. And since then, no one's ever been happy. No one's been happy since then. It doesn't matter what generation we're looking at.
You know what it is that they said the more wrestling companies we have, right? ROH, all these companies, AAA, you name them, we've watered it down. So it's like any sports, any of the four major sports. When you have expansion teams, you water the product down a little bit because you're letting in guys or women, whatever, that would never be in there in the first place. So the more we do more NXTs and the more shows that we have to let in some people that should never be in wrestling.
No,
they get through that door. And then so when you see guys and women that look like they should be picking up your garbage on the street and they expect you to tune in to watch that and buy into them, you start turning people off because it becomes too phony. And that's part of the problem.
It's a problem, but it's a problem for only a segment of the fan population because there's a lot of slobs and ugly people out there who fucking look up to those guys. Hey, we can do it too.
Agree.
Huh?
So that's true to a point, but right? At the same time, you're supposed to be the best athletes in the world at your craft, and you expect me to believe that Kevin Owens fight. Owens is a fighter since when? Look at the guy. What's he fighting? So that's what I'm saying. So these kind of things like this. And Owens is good on the mic. I'm not saying he's up, but this is the kind of thing, it all kind of adds up. And you put it all into the pot, and people just like, that's getting kind of lame. And it's like,
well, dude, you know what, though? If that's the case, then people have been saying the same shit for the last 4 years that we've been doing this. Honestly.
True,
it's a never-ending story.
I'm going by the numbers. So the arenas are half full now.
Hey, dude, and we know why they are.
SummerSlam, they didn't announce the attendance. because
No,
of full
yeah,
credit.
I
So
get it. I get all that, but
right?
it's like you said, and I'm glad you said it because it's a bit of an acceptance on your part. It's not all Triple H, it's also
No, it's
Ari,
everything.
and
No,
it's
it's everyone.
everyone combined,
All of
right?
them. All of
It's
them.
all of them,
It's a ship
right?
of fools with no captain, about 20 of them on that boat.
Well,
And
but
here's
that's
another
what
thing
I'm
I got to
saying.
say. I'm going to say this. What the heck is Paul Heyman doing? Why is he allowed to insert himself in the Braun Breaker Oba story now? Get that guy off TV. Every major story he's involved in. Give him a rest. Let him sit in creative. Let him sit in catering. We don't need Paul Heyman in every story. Guys,
I don't know. You know
Oba
what?
and Braun don't need Paul for this.
I
Why is he there? It's just too much Paul. I'm just so tired of that guy's stick.
I think
It's the
Braun.
same.
I think Braun needs Paul, in my opinion, in terms of just because, like I said, I mean, it's hard to say because both these guys are so fresh. Okay. But at the end of the day, when you look at it, it almost feels like they're selling the story in a way where it shows that Braun is still a kid. The way they're producing the story, the way they're making it, the little points that Paul is making to him, just I think that's Paul's role now is to kind of be with this guy. I think he's going to be with Braun for a little
It's
bit.
too much. It's too much, Paul. Let me tell you something.
Well,
So
let's see.
you
Let's
go
see
you go back to
like I
that
said,
interview that he did. So this is the reason why Paul's in all the big segments. Go back to that interview they did with Chris Van Fleet. What was he saying? Triple H is the greatest booker. If I had $1 billion company, I'd book him. He's just kissing his butt. So when you do that, what do you see? You see Paul in every major storyline. I mean, everybody has a shelf life. Paul's almost 70 years old. What is he? Mid 60s, late 60s. Like, give the guy a break on TV. Like, you don't need him in every role. He's a talented manager. I'm not saying that he's not. He's super talented. Don't get me wrong. But every storyline, everybody doesn't need Paul Heyman to make them. You got to try to make it on your own sometimes, or use a different manager, or just don't use a manager. But so I'm just getting tired of that guy.
no, fair play, man, fair play. I mean,
It gets stale, you know?
each of their own. Like I said, when we watch wrestling, and I define it as such, it is a male soap opera. No homo, nothing gay about it. It's a male soap opera, right?
Yeah.
And within a soap opera, and I did this a couple of weeks ago again, just to kind of make sure I know what I'm talking about. I forced myself to sit down and watch an episode of The Young and the Restless with my wife.
Mm-hmm.
Something I haven't done in a long time. Okay.
Yeah.
The first thing I'm going to say is I'm surprised that there is no incest babies on any of these soap operas because it feels like everybody sleeps with everybody. Everyone gets married to everybody. The kids end up getting married to each other's kids. I'm surprised they haven't crossed that line in some sense, but that's neither here or there. All I'm trying to get to is like within wrestling and within soap operas, you got different stories going on. Okay. You got low card, C card storylines that are playing out at the same time, B card, A level storylines, right?
Yep.
I'll be honest right now, what we're seeing, and you got to give it time. It takes time. And I think this is the one problem that's missing in society. And I hope you have it, my friend. It's a thing called patience.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We live in a time now where people cannot go to the cinema and watch a 2-hour film without having to get up 15, 20 minutes into it.
No, I agree. But
live in a
my whole
society
thing
where
is
everybody grabs a phone, right? Like everyone's quick. No one has time or patience to see something grow. I'm surprised that people are patient for the fruit to come onto the trees.
Yeah.
Just the way the world moves now. Right. Like no one has that patience to stand in line. Like I stand in a line. I just stand there. I look at it as an opportunity to decompress.
Yeah.
Right. You're not going to go anywhere. The line's only going to move as fast as it's going to move. But the 20 people in front of me, I'm like, oh my God, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That we just live in this society now where we're constantly now.
Yeah. So no, I agree. It's all about clicks. It's all about shorts, 30 seconds. So since this new regime has taken over, we don't have anybody. Well, I'm not even saying Triple H. I'm saying the new regime. So you pull Triple H and Ari, Shapiro, Khan, all these guys. What stars have they created that are main eventing their shows? Because everybody we see is all McMahon guys. Who have they made main event their show? Like in these last 4 years, who is their stars that are main eventing a show?
Well, I mean, we're in that transitional phase, man. And we've talked about this before.
4 years is not a transitional phase.
No. We're in a transitional phase now, right? And this is where the Trick Williams, this and that, those kind of guys need to step up and they need to be put on TV more because if they're using that Moneyball metric style of booking and deciding who's on TV and who's not, then that's on them for not putting them on TV or
I
giving
totally
them the
agree with you. So
opportunity
my
to
point is
shine,
like in the
right?
last 4
So
years, this regime has not had one of their own stars main event a major pay-per-view. Who? I'm talking the major for nobody. We get in we got Roman Reigns. I love him, but still, we got Cody Rhodes, we get CM Punk, we get Kevin Owens, we got all these guys that they're McMahon guys that he made, and this is the new era. And we keep saying now Moneyball era, now it's Triple H era, now the Paul Levesque era.
yeah,
This
but
era is
most of
all
those
a bunch
guys
of
were
crap.
created by Triple H down in NXT. Then they came up to the main roster. So I mean, they
But you
were.
can't, no. McMahon made them the star, right? You're on the TV, he makes you the star. So Triple H might have coached them. They weren't stars till they got to McMahon. CM Punk never came. Well, he was a McMahon guy. McMahon made him that whole
No,
pipe bomb thing.
McMahon and Cody are separate from it, but I'm talking about the
Yeah,
other guys that
but
are
McMahon,
around.
that pipe bomb thing, CM Punk wrote that. McMahon approved it, was laughing and helped him write it. It was all. That's what I'm saying. Like
no, I
he,
get it.
he
I
brings the
get it.
best out of people. So where are Shawn Michaels and where are Triple H's guys? Where's Ari's guy?
Well, they're
Where are
coming
these
up,
guys?
but they got to put him on TV. Like, okay, Dragonoff would be one of those guys, and he
He's
would
not
be.
going to be a star though.
No, but dude, he has all the potential in the world to be a star. Okay, the stuff that he could do with Gunther, the storyline there is absolutely phenomenal if they
But dude,
actually
there's
made it
another guy.
happen. Huh?
There's another guy. Gunther is not over at all. Nobody even reacts to the guy. I like him myself. He came on SummerSlam. You can hear a pin drop. Nobody booed him or cheered him. He gets no thing.
And then that's on him too, then, right? Like,
Absolutely.
I mean,
I'm saying it's
you
all
know,
about. So why do they? So if this guy can't even get heat, why is he out all the time? Because he's Triple H's boy from NXT. This is my thing. The
okay, well,
nepotism
if
is so
everyone hates on
obvious.
Sami Zayn so much, why do they keep keeping him in this
Hey,
main
Sami Zayn,
storyline?
at
Because
least
we
Sami-
know that we already know what they want to do with him for Mania.
But at least Sami Zayn gets a reaction. Gunther gets nothing. Nobody cares about him.
Well,
He's got no personality. He's dull.
because Ari and those guys have destroyed the
Whatever the
character.
case may be, everybody, I'm not blaming anybody for Gunther, but he gets no reaction. Get him down to the bottom of the truck.
Omos could have been in the place that Oba is right now. Okay, but he's toiling down in AAA because they fucking killed the character before it had a
No, I
chance
get
to
it.
do
I
anything.
agree, but I'm saying, like, if you guys want to separate yourself from the McMahon era, and this is now the third time we're in the new Paul Levesque era for the third time in 4 years. Okay, fine, great. Then get Punk out of there and get Roman Reigns out of there and give us your guys now. You've had plenty of time, boys. They keep saying all this crap, and it never changes.
Let's see what they do, brother, man. That's the only way I can go, because I mean we can go back and forth here all day long, and you're not wrong, and
What
I'm
I'm
not
saying
wrong.
is, so like, I'm calling out there, but you can't name any guys, stars that they've created that have highlight, like, main event of their 4 papers. Name one in the last 4 years. One of their guys. Name one.
I mean, there's no one right now. No, I mean, you know, because they're not giving them the
4
opportunity.
years. That's my point, right?
But I think 4 years is no.
Well, I'm
not
agreeing.
4
They're
years.
not giving opportunity.
I'd say
But
the
the
last
reason
2
why they're
years.
not giving.
I'd
But
say
dude,
the last
you're
2
saying
years,
your
not the
answer
last
proves my
4 years.
point. You've just proved my point. You're saying they're not giving an opportunity. Exactly, because they're not stars and they know they can't put them out there. They'll flub. And that's why they go with the old guys, because they know they still get a little bit of reaction, right?
Their own philosophy is killing them. It's not what I'm saying.
I agree. No, I agree.
Okay, it's their own philosophy and their own way of thinking that's killing them. Because if you don't, like, I get what you're saying, dude. I'm not arguing.
So you're basically saying that these guys have no idea what they're doing. They can't make new stars.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying they're not giving the opportunity to the guys.
But why are they not? Because they don't trust them.
Because of the philosophies that they're working off of. They're not working off of instinct. They're working off of metrics.
You know as I know, if Ari and Triple H thought, Bob Smith was the hottest star they've ever seen, the next Brock Lesnar, after 6 months in WWE, they put him right at the top.
Okay,
they don't have that guy.
They wouldn't do that because Bob Smith would. If Bob Smith was getting clicks, the only reason Danhausen's over is because of his merch. The only reason they keep pumping the guy. No, they're getting sick of the guy now.
I don't know. He's still selling most shirts.
Yeah, because the kids love it. Okay, it's a kids thing.
That's what matters. Who cares about a 30 or 40-year-old dude sitting in his room nerding out over CM Punk? Who gives a crap? It's about the kids. So I'd rather have a Danhausen out there being silly and goofy.
But now you're basically saying, okay, you're agreeing with their philosophy then that, like, okay, as long as they're getting the clicks and selling the merch, he should be on TV.
Danhausen he's not main eventing anything. He's just a goofy character that sells.
No, I get that. But what I'm saying is this is who they're putting over because of their philosophy in terms of how they determine who gets TV time and who doesn't get TV time, dude.
But what I'm saying is but I don't totally agree with that, because as you can see, CM Punk gets 1 million people to watch him. They're only 300. SmackDown's only 300,000 people more than AEW Dynamite. Dynamite's right on SmackDown's heels, and they have a chance to catch SmackDown. They'll never catch Raw, but Dynamite's snipping at their heels. It's
Maybe
that
they
close.
are, and maybe they are, right? But like I said, let's carry on. We're gonna go
Yep.
back and forth forever and ever on this.
My point is, I say this every last 4 years: show me Triple H's stars. Nobody's been able to show them to me. We have 1,000 excuses for why.
Yeah, but anyone you mention, you say no, it's a McMahon guy. No, McMahon had nothing to do with Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins in the beginning, right? I mean, even when
dude, that doesn't make any sense. That's like saying so Manny Pacquiao.
Look at everybody. You look at everybody on the roster right now. They all came from NXT.
Who owned the company at NXT?
But that wasn't Vince's project.
But if Vince didn't want them up there on the main roster, they would have sat back down. Vince is the only guy that saw it in Roman. Same with Cena. Vince knew who you were. Vince will make you the star. Triple H, you're just saying yourself, he's in charge of NXT with Shawn Michaels, his best buddy. They can't make any of these guys stars yet. McMahon could do it, and they can't do that. They don't have that. That's my point. So you can say Triple H helped his career. Sure, he might have shown him some tricks of the trade. I don't disagree with that. But they can't make them stars. Michaels can show you how to wrestle. Absolutely. He can't make you a star. I love Shawn Michaels.
I think a lot of these guys have to make their own star too, though, right? I mean, it just doesn't fall on Triple H and Shawn Michaels. These guys that are
you got to help them get to that level. You got to give them that, help them help them give them that extra juice, whatever it takes.
And until Shapiro and Ari decide to let these guys have an opportunity, then they're not going to get it.
But you can't. That doesn't make sense, though, dude. You're saying
no, it does make sense because if you don't put them out there to get shine, to start a program, to do something, right?
Which is it?
Then they're not going to get the clicks that they keep them going.
Okay, so you're saying Triple H, Stephanie McMahon, and Paul Heyman are liars, and I'm going by their own words in their interviews. Are they liars?
They're lying about what?
So what I'm saying is, okay, so Triple H, Paul Heyman, Stephanie McMahon, and Cody Rhodes all say it, all on Chris Van Fleet, all their own podcasts. Triple H has full creative control. Nobody tells him what to do. So you're saying they're liars because you're saying Ari steps in there, does what and tells them to don't do this. I don't know what's true, but they're lying if that's the case.
You know, I think they are lying because I think Ari has his hands in there more than a lot of people realize.
Okay. So now we've established that Triple H, Paul Heyman, and Cody Rhodes and Stephanie McMahon are liars about the business. They're lying about the creative.
I'm not saying that they're lying, but I think they're covering it up.
Both can't be true.
Well, I don't know, dude. I mean, it's a matter of opinion. Unless we're in a room with them, I don't know. But I mean, I know.
Why would Triple H get on a Stephen A. Smith and Chris Van Fleet and lie to his audience when he says, "This is my era. We have all these great things."
Maybe that's what he's told to say. Maybe that's what he's being told to say.
So Triple H, Stephanie, and Paul Heyman are liars. So if we can't trust them on that, we can't trust them with anything they say, right? This is my point. We're trying to get at, so what people are doing to defend Triple H, they're saying if it's a great program, Triple H is amazing. If something bad happens, it's Ari. Well, which is it, guys? We can't just blame Ari.
I say it's a combination of both.
Yeah, I'm just going by Paul and Triple H's words, what they tell me.
All right, dude.
They say Ari has nothing to do with creative, so I'm just wondering what's going on.
We got All In next weekend, my friend.
Yeah.
We got one more week of Dynamite here. What are you expecting from the show, man? Because honestly,
they got a big show Friday, right? They're doing that pay-per-view with Ring of Honor.
Right.
Before All In.
And does anyone care?
Yeah, the hardcores care. Yeah. This is like how WWE does the AAA thing. This is their version of it. They're mixing some of their ROH guys. I don't watch ROH myself with some of their.
But see, that's a redundant show to put on because nobody knows. Because I mean, here's a guy who has, can put all these shows on TV. He doesn't put ROH anywhere. No one has access to it. So why would you give us a pay-per-view or a show to showcase ROH when no one knows anybody?
Because he's trying to bring them up. That's what he would tell you. I don't agree with myself, but he'd be like, I'm trying to give, Steve and Melissa, whatever. I'm trying to give them a name, give them a rub, put them on national TV.
Yeah, but why once every year? Like, what shouldn't you be putting them on a weekly show or something?
I don't know, man. This is what he's doing. So he loves ROH, right?
No, I get it. It just sounds kind of counterproductive, right?
It's a new way of all these wrestling companies. They start mixing with all these other companies now. And to me, it waters it down because if AEW is supposed to be the second best company in the world, what are you doing with ROH guys coming in there? That tells me that ROH is on par with you. I've never understood that.
Well, I mean, everything you say about WWE and working with this company and that company, I think AEW, the only reason they've established anything is because of all the companies they worked with, right? Without New Japan supporting them, without CMLL supporting them, where would they be?
Tony's got deep pockets, man. So
No,
they'll
no,
always
no,
be
no.
there.
But that was his claim, that he opened that fourth door. He broke that fourth wall down in working with different promotions, creating these
Yeah,
dream
he
matches,
did do
right?
that.
He did do that, right?
Well,
I get
that's the
that.
thing, though. That's the
But
thing, Tony Khan. His dream match.
outside of that, outside of Omega and Jericho, outside of a couple other matches, the rest of these matches are just for, like you say, they're hardcore base that no one else would
Yeah,
know
no, I
about,
totally agree with that. Yeah, these are Tony Khan's dream matches.
right? So,
He's,
like, I
he's a
mean,
billionaire playing poker.
when you're like, and right now WWE is doing the exact same thing with CMML, with the whole,
Triple A.
uh, with the tournament to face Roman in Mexico City. Like,
Mhm.
it's all AAA guys fighting,
Yeah, I
right?
know.
So it's kind of like, okay, I get it. You want one of your guys to fight the champion from WWE. He's not going to win, obviously,
No,
but
of course not.
they're trying to put shine on their other entities,
Yep.
right? At least what WWE's doing is trying to build up their promotions at their own. Tony Khan, on the other hand, is using these other promotions to give them shine.
Well, I believe Tony owns, doesn't he? He owns ROH, doesn't he?
No, he owns ROH, but I'm talking
Oh,
like New Japan, CMML.
yeah. And again, with Tony Khan, an amazing guy, one of the best people in wrestling. He's an amazing person. But for him, wrestling is he's a big indie fan.
Vince turned it down. He didn't want it. He had the opportunity to bite himself. He said, "Nah."
Yeah, Tony's a big indie fan with deep pockets. So for him, his dream match is all these Omega type of matches, and he just loves it. He's going to put on, he's got the money to do it. The problem that he's forgetting is he's leaving the casual guys behind. When you do something like no casual fans going to watch ROH versus AW on Friday. It's not
All
happening.
right.
All in maybe.
Oh, I tell you what, we have All In coming next, not this weekend.
Yeah, the following weekend. They got 36,000 tickets sold. Cheapest tickets about $40-$50.
Is that 40-50 pounds or bucks?
40-50 pounds.
So we're looking at about 90 to about $150.
Yeah, and then there was some they sold out. They were like 25 pounds. A bunch of
those are easy. Those are easy.
Yeah,
look,
so
I mean,
I think we'll have 40,000 people by the end of the night, which is pretty good for AEW. I'll give them that.
no, it's fine. And like I said, they're doing it in London. You got it. You got a place there that doesn't get these shows on a regular basis.
Yeah, the crowd's gonna be crazy.
Mm-hmm. So it's an easy sell.
Yep,
it's an easy sell.
Osprey, right?
And having Osprey there is probably the best thing, right? I mean, without him, I don't know if the show would work. Would it be any better if it was Mega MJF, right? I still say personally, MJF versus Osprey would have been better.
Yeah, because MJF's a good heel, and he would have got a little more.
He's a natural heel. He's a natural heel.
He's not even,
and he knows how to talk. Omega probably speaks better Japanese than he does English.
Mm-hmm.
He communicates better in Japanese. I think he cuts a better promo in Japanese than he does in English.
Got a lot of time there.
Listen, I'm not gonna lie, man. I love Kenny Omega. I think he's a really great athlete, but he's fucking like watching paint dry on a wall when he cuts a promo.
But he's got no charisma.
None. All right. He's got that 1980s rockers hairstyle. Like no one can rock the perm like he can. I'm just to be honest, right? So
and that's the thing with Kenny Omega. Like he's a great athlete, he's a good wrestler for sure, but he's never going to be that big global star because
does Bailey show up at All In or All Out? Sorry,
maybe New Day might. I don't know if Bailey was she going to go there too.
I think. Well, no, she's hinting at it. She's pretty much almost done, right? And she's put out some cryptic kind of videos of her training at different places, training with Mercedes, Sasha Banks. With this All In music in the background, right? So WWE officials are not happy with her doing that.
At the end of the day, it'll be a quick little buzz for her. But Bailey's not going to draw any ratings either way.
No, but but that's like with anyone who's ever gone over there, that they give a little rating boost in the beginning and then they get lost in the shuffle, right? We're talking Jericho. About the New Day. Yeah. Well, no, but Jericho came in at the very beginning. I'm talking about talent. Like, look, man, look what happened with Andrade. He's finally figured it out there, right? He left, came back, left, came back, right? Now he's kind of figured it out. This is the third time he's been in AEW. Mm-hmm. Now he's finally figured it out, and this is where he's supposed to be. You look at Miro, Rusev. I mean, he's fucking God knows what Anyways, let's just walk away from that.
Oh, the one thing about Bayley, I've been saying this on the show for years, her stick got tired. She has
Yeah.
this legendary career Hall of Famer. I'm glad she's at WWE. It's time to move on. Every wrestler has a shelf life. I don't care who you are. It's time for her to go. So I'm glad WWE let her go.
For sure.
She had a great career. I'm not taking nothing away from her, but it's time to move on.
Yeah. And as far as the New Day goes, I think they're going to join up with Swerve.
Yeah, they might.
Right? I think it's going to work out with Swerve, and they might be the exception here where they can actually do something this time, because they dropped the ball with that. You said it yourself, man, with me off the air. And I've been saying it to you for how many months about this guy. Now you finally realize, I hope. They fucked Lashley. They fucked Lashley.
Yeah, no, he doesn't like that kind of guy. The big muscle guys. Tony's not that kind of guy.
But
for whatever the reason is.
Based on the wrestling that you feel that everyone should be watching and will gravitate the fans back to it, like, you want to talk about a roster of
if I was in charge of AEW, I would have Bobby Lashley at least.
Dude, you want to talk about a roster full of garbage men and plumbers and fucking gardeners and etc. as he called them? Well, look at their 90% of the roster is all that.
100%. If I was in charge of AEW, I wouldn't give the belt to Bobby because he's almost 50, but I would have him up in the title picture. I'd have him fighting MJF. I'd have him fighting Osprey, because this guy, you look at him and he's
I'd give him
and he's legitimately tough.
Dude, honestly, if you're going to give Samoa Joe the title, then you have to get, in my opinion, you have to give it to Lashley at least once. Maybe not now, because you've put him so down the toilet. Him and Shelton.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, I mean, they had gold there, dude. They could have done so much.
I would love to have Tony Khan on the show and to say, dude, I respect you in business. You know, I love you doing Jacksonville Jaguars. You've done some great things today, but I have to ask you one question. When you have legitimate athletes like Shelton Benjamin and Bobby Lashley, who we know fought in MMA and he won, he's not like a CM Punk. This got his butt kicked. Lashley's a legit tough guy. Why are you not using him at least mid-card to championship level? Like, this is the guy that people will tune in to watch him because he's a legitimate athlete. Why don't he? I would just like to know what he said to that.
I have a theory on that. Okay, I think one theory is this. I think Tony Khan contradicts himself a lot more than people realize. Okay, one example of that is this. He said, no, with all the releases that happened in WWE, he said, no, we're not interested. Our rosters are pretty solid. We're not interested in any of these guys. As soon as the 90-day clause expired, who showed up first? The Machine Guns.
Oh,
well, no, hold on. If your roster's so full, then why are you bringing these guys in? Right?
Yeah, I agree.
And that he does contradictory things like that. Everyone thinks Tony Khan's such a nice guy. Look at the stuff he's doing to Britt Baker. Now, I get it. Contracts are contracts, blah, blah, blah. But for someone who's supposed to be such a nice guy, he's showing his real dark side there, the way he's treating her and other talent that he doesn't agree with.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's bring that to light. Let's show that. The other thing here, and this is my assumption, I'm just theorizing completely on this. You know how you talk about the garbage man and the common man? Well, Tony Khan is what? Maybe 120 pounds soaking wet naked?
Probably.
Okay. That. So who would he look up to? All the small little indie guys, and like, I can be this guy too.
100% he does.
Into this. So he's built a show completely around the little guy and the guy who gets no opportunity. I mean, he would salivate at the opportunity to get Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens on his show because he loves it, right?
Oh, yeah.
He brought CM Punk thinking the same thing, but then he realized that Punk, is a difficult guy.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. That's the best way to say it. Okay.
Yeah.
And so everything he loved. Then you go to the other side, brother. Okay. You got a guy named Vince McMahon.
Mm-hmm.
Back in the 70s, he was huge.
Mm-hmm.
Physique, discipline, and the amount of discipline this man has. We saw that with Todd Pettin or Todd Grisham.
That was awesome.
You sent me a clip. Okay, it wasn't. Yeah, it was funny.
Yeah,
it was kind of like people can think, oh, it was a kind of an eccentric thing. What did I say to you? What was my comment to you? Can you read it?
Discipline. I don't have my phone with me, but discipline.
Discipline. One word. Why is McMahon so successful? Because he's disciplined.
Oh, heck yeah.
Okay, and that discipline starts at the very beginning of everything.
Mm-hmm.
And that's from waking up. Discipline is not just being disciplined in, I'm going to edit this, I'm going to work really hard and be disciplined and, stay focused. No, discipline is a lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
And the most successful people in this world, the The people that have made themselves, the people who have made themselves from living in a trailer or having no money, it's, are
Discipline.
people who are purely disciplined. Okay.
Yep.
Disciplined to the point where he said, hey, you're training. I'm your boy.
Yeah, I know, it's
Right?
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm your boy. So you traded with the plates on the bar, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But you didn't take them off. Okay.
That's
Right
hilarious.
there is discipline.
Oh yeah.
I go to the gym. I used to train pretty hard. I'm training hard again.
Mhm.
Okay. In a 4 months time, I'm going to be looking a lot different.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good.
But it's all about discipline.
100%.
Even when I'm at the gym, and this is old school gym mentality, which is lost on all the young kids because they don't have that philosophy. I
Mhm.
was raised when I started training back in the day. I trained at a place in Toronto. My very first gym was called Elfie's, and then
Okay.
this place had wood floors, like literally not like planks.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Right? Like that's
Yeah.
what the floor was like. It was Elfie's. It was a small little gym, but Elfie took me under his wing for that first month that I started training, ever started lifting weights in a proper way. He taught me everything, but he taught me discipline. When you're done with the weights, you put them back, you clean them
Oh
up.
yeah.
If you're on the rack, you take them off the rack and you put them away.
Yeah.
And I didn't understand that till he explained to me that these are your tools.
Mhm.
It's like my dad used to explain to me when we were fixing cars. You
Mhm.
respect your tools because
Yeah.
your tools are going to do the work for you. If you don't respect your tools, then you have no respect for what you're doing.
Yes, well said.
Okay. And I live that way. I
Mhm.
respect my tools. I put my tools away. If there's grease on my tools, I clean them up before I put them away. Right. So there's no excuse for that tool not to work. When I'm at the gym, after I'm done, I put everything away. It doesn't matter if I am only got a minute between sets or exercises. You put
Yeah,
your
no, it's
shit
good.
away and you carry on. That's the philosophy that McMahon has, and you apply it to life.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. So you got McMahon, who's bigger than life, muscle man. Why do you think he
Yeah.
wants all big men around him?
Yeah.
Okay. He looks at the little guys and he scoffs at them.
Mhm.
Where Tony Khan is the complete opposite, where he's just bringing all the little guys and to make him feel like, yeah, these are the guys that motivated me.
Yeah.
So
No,
I
I
think
totally agree with
that's
that.
right there. That makes answers a lot of your questions.
Tony Khan would he would counter that and say, "Well, we're the alternative, so we don't always have that the big muscle guys." That's how he would
Well,
counter it. But
then
that's
the other thing is, it's like you got Jericho going on podcasts right now and saying, yeah, this, and this. And a lot of people are refuting what he's saying. He's saying that, no, AEW doesn't, need WWE, this and that. We're not WWE light. We don't talk about them. But you know what? Since 2019, all you guys do is talk about WWE.
well, they'll say we get asked about it, so we have to answer the question.
No,
But yeah,
no, they don't have to. They can say, no, they're the competition. They're doing what we're doing. We're doing what we're doing. Let's focus on us, right?
Mhm.
Ospreay's going out of his way to make comments about
yeah,
WWE.
he does. He does. Osprey does for
All
sure.
right. And a lot of other talent down there do it.
Mhm.
So if you're not concerned about WWE, if you don't care what they're doing, then don't talk about them.
I agree with that. Yeah.
Stick to
Well,
your program.
Speaking of WWE, I got to give them credit. That last segment, like usually they don't. The Raw segments are usually like not very good at the end of the show. It's kind of lame, same old crap. But yesterday was pretty good when they had Solo in there, LA Knight and Roman Reigns. That was good
I'm
TV.
glad you brought that up because I have something.
Yeah, that was a good segment.
Hey,
Go
little
ahead.
one, we're in the middle of a podcast here, sunshine.
Yeah, that like what they're
Okay,
doing with
so
Solo.
here's
Solo's one of the
I'm
best
gonna,
characters, right?
no, dude, honestly, the whole pew pew is kind of cool. He's
Mhm.
making his own name. I liked what he did.
Yeah, it was good.
In terms of the storyline, I think the one interesting thing here, it made Jacob look like an idiot. Because
Yeah.
Solo, well, no, because and you can
did.
see it in his face. He's selling that, and I love that storytelling right there from Jacob. Okay, like the other two guys get these ulafalas for bringing Solo.
Mhm.
Jacob is perturbed by that because him and Jay are going to have something going on here at some point.
Oh,
Okay,
absolutely.
he's not pointing at Jimmy or anything. It's him and Jay. And
Yeah.
Jay's selling it really well, but I feel bad for Jay because a year ago, this guy was here, here, and here. Now he looks like a fucking clown with
The
Roman.
best-selling shirt a year ago. He was Royal Rumble champion.
Well, but this is what I'm saying. He looks like a clown. He's killing his own momentum by being this kind of character. It's kind of stupid, right?
I don't know if he has a choice. Maybe they're telling him that.
Well, like I'm saying, it is what it is. But I mean, if they don't realize that, like it's self-realization, okay? Then you have Solo
Yeah.
do what Jacob should have done and could have done better in terms of his viciousness and stuff. Now
Yeah.
you're seeing like, okay, he's standing back. He didn't get involved because they told him not to get involved.
Yep. No, Solo's doing some
The
great,
story's
great
good.
character
I
work
like
now.
it. I like where we're going with this, man.
That was a good segment. It was a really good segment.
It's a
Solo's
good way
probably
to
one
end
of
the
the
show.
top. Yeah, Solo's one of the top 5 characters at least the last couple of weeks. He's been doing really good.
No, he's
Doing good
killing
work.
it. So I mean, him doing what he did and whatnot is just building it up. And now there are internally referring to Roman Reigns and the Bloodline as heels.
Which is
So
good.
let's see, which is good, but it's hard because if the fans keep cheering you, people, it's hard to distinguish, right? That's
like
the problem that
Roman
we
Reigns is
have
like-
right now.
Well, he's not on Hollywood Hogan's level. Nobody is, but he's sort of like a Hollywood Hogan, where even he come out there being a bad guy, he's still.
Well, then that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. It's really
Yeah.
hard, but they're internally they've listed them now as heels,
Mhm.
which makes sense. I've been wondering that, like especially if you got a guy like Jacob in there who's going to be vicious like that.
Yeah,
That's not good guy shit. That's bad guy shit.
yeah, no, for sure. It was a good segment. It was well written. It was well.
There you go.
executed.
All right, brother, man. Let's wrap this puppy up. Let's call it a day. We went deep today, brother. We went really deep today.
Good.
I don't even know what the description for this would be, but I'll figure it out.
Many things.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am Bobby Sampson. He is Mr. Chance Michaels. Next week,
And
we
the
will
person-
come at you guys with the full preview for All In
Yeah.
London and Wembley. So make sure to watch the episode of AEW Dynamite. Quick note before we finish here, Chance, I apologize. Raw next week will be airing here in Vancouver at 3 p.m.,
Okay.
6 p.m. on the East Coast in Ottawa. And they're going to do it the following week in Cleveland as well. What they
Okay.
want to do is basically give their roster 2 weeks off, basically. So next week, you're going to get Raw at 3 live, and then you get SmackDown taped. And they're going to do it the following week as well on Monday.
And I get it. There's 2 sides to this coin. To do it really quickly. They get 2 weeks off, recharge, refresh. It's basically these guys want to go home themselves, the executive guys. I guess so.
No, I get that, but this is the difference between when Vince ran shit.
That's what
there
I'm
was
saying.
no
At the
day
same
off.
time, guys, like, are we pushing the line here to make the best product? We're going to be lazy. Like,
But this is what happens when you get corporate people in
Vince
there
will
who
never
don't
do
know the
this.
business.
He let a couple guys have a vacation. I need you on Raw. We're going live. We're not pre-taping
No, but
this.
dude, this is the problem. This is the issue with wrestling because wrestling is a weekly episodic thing where people are going to tune in, right?
Yeah.
And this a week, people are going to tune out and find something else to do.
Yeah, football's starting pretty quick.
College football starting pretty soon. This is when you want to take your fucking break? Like stupid people, come on, right? Like in
You
general.
let a couple guys have a rest, but there's so much
No,
other
I get it, but
people you could
2 weeks,
use.
and I get, people need a rest and stuff. But hey, man, like I mean, this is what I'm talking about. This is what's lost in wrestling. Wrestling is 52 weeks a year. It's always
Yep.
been,
And they're paid very well.
and they're paid well, right?
Very
So
well.
another example of what the modern era is like. Okay.
Yeah.
Everybody needs a break. Everybody needs a fucking participation medal. Everybody needs a pat on the back for doing a good job, even though you lost. You know, like learn to lose, people, and then you can become successful.
Yeah, 2 more things that I wrap the show with. Congratulations that JR recovered from brain surgery.
Yes, he's already home.
Good.
He's already home.
And then last Friday, CAW, we got our biggest audience ever, 500 people, which is pretty good for indie wrestling. And the show was phenomenal. It was outdoors, and obviously Trev Dealey's helped push tickets too, but by far our biggest crowd. So yeah, it was good.
There you go. There you go. All right, let's try this one more time, brother man. My name is Bobby Sampson. He is Mr. Chance Michaels.
And the words of the great ACDC, those that download, like, subscribe to the podcast, we salute you.
We do salute you. We salute you too, ACDC, for performing and giving us amazing music one more time.
Oh yeah.
And anyone who's complaining about a 27-minute guitar solo can go to hell. Honestly, man, that stuff is what makes the show. And that's just another example of how attention spans are nowadays. Okay?
Yeah.
So that sums it all up right there for me. I'm Bobby Sampson. He's Mr. Chance Michaels. Guys, believe in yourself. Work on your craft. Work on yourselves. The best line. I know you're not a Seinfeld guy, are you, Chance?
I appreciate the comedic brilliance of it.
Okay.
Absolutely.
The best line ever, in my opinion, is we all, male, female, whatever you think you are,
Mhm.
we are our own masters of our domains. And I'm not talking about masturbation. Okay. I'm talking about us as people. We are our own masters of our domain. If you want to look at someone who rides a chariot, we are the chariot. We
Mhm.
are the soul of that chariot. We are the reason that chariot moves. We are every component of it. And we are like that as people. If we're good to ourselves, we're good to other people, we control our emotions. We control the narratives.
Yep.
So just remember that. Everything you create in your own mind and you put out there, you're doing to yourselves.
Yeah.
So try to think positive, try to be positive and focus and be good to yourselves. Things will fall in place. Sap and
Well said.
Chance are out.
Samp and Chance, are you ready?